we're going to have a bit of a nostalgic review. I was going through some of my old things and I actually found my old Nintendo Game Boy and a whole heap of games. That evidently led on to a bit of a buying bonanza with Game Boy games and playing the Game Boy and actually getting back into it. Let's go have a look what the old Game Boy is like with the brand new Nintendo Switch. And let's have a bit of a comparison and just think, was the Game Boy so good back when it was released in 1989? What a transformation in gaming have we got here. You know, I was brought up playing, the Commodore 64, Amiga 500, definitely the Game Boy, I had a Sega Game Gear, and I worked my way up through things. And then I stopped buying, I had a PSP, and I stopped buying once I bricked that. FBI, open up! So I accidentally bricked it, so it became no good, but moved on just recently. I've done a fair bit of research and I've been checking out the Nintendo Switch, and it's fair to say they've come a long way. So the Game Boy was released in 1989, the 21st of April, and the Game Boy Color came out another almost 10 years later in 1998. The Nintendo Switch was just released in 2017 and they've had multiple versions since then. So if you go back and look at the Game Boy back in 1989, I reckon I got one pretty early on in the piece. And that's right, I was probably in my 20s. Anyway, let's not let the facts get in the way of a good story. The Game Boy had 1,047 games, which is a hell of a lot. I got packets of games here. So interestingly enough, the market is going through the roof. So the nostalgicness is definitely taking place. Or is it just the fact that everyone that actually wants one of these actually has money now when I didn't when I was 15 years of age? Who knows? But what we're looking at here, Nintendo Switch has been around a couple of years, already has over 3,000 games to its name, and an amazing system, but we'll get into that. So it's fair to say Nintendo did some very interesting things. They came out with this, and it's bloody hard to see unless you got a light on it, so evidently they came out with a backlit, and then they came out with the Game Boy Color, and funny enough, the Game Boy Color wasn't backlit. It's hard to believe they actually didn't have backlit from the start. I can actually remember needing the magnifying glass and the light on it so you could actually make the screen a bit bigger. Didn't think much of it at the time. Now I look at it and think, wow, that was crazy. I can't believe I actually did that. If you combine the Game Boy Color, and all of those versions, they roughly have around 200 million units sold.
Hello, I like money.
And if we look at this new Nintendo Switch, only been around for about 3 years, since 2017. They have now sold about 70 million of these into the market in such a short period of time. When the Game Boy came out into the market, it was about $89, and back then it seemed like a fair bit. If we add inflation to that, that price now is $169. A little bit different story when we're talking about Nintendo Switch. That came out around $450. You get lucky, $50 off or something like that. Depends on what accessories you want, but literally 3 times the price of this. And we could go and say, you pack a fair bit of punch in this. Not only is it a handheld game, it actually is so universal. You can plug it into your dock and play it on your TV. Does make it a lot more user-friendly. I can't believe it's taken this long to actually do that because it works amazingly, and it might have brought me back into playing games. And the reality is we're only playing games because I was trying to do some research.
Why the f you lying? Why you always lying?
Because we're doing a podcast with a gamer, and I just wanted to make sure I could brush up on my gaming skills. And it's fair to say you almost need a PhD to play the new games, and it's a lot different than the single level platform games that I'm used to, and definitely for the last few years. I think my last console was a PlayStation 2, so I haven't played a game since, other than when I go into the arcades, but shh, keep that quiet. So let's start off with some pros of both units. I mean, the Game Boy came out perfect, and the color, they were all quite good. Obviously the advantage was the size of it and the cartridge, so you could swap in and out games very easily. This was a really neat handheld to use, and I know I took mine around with me everywhere, and back in the day you used to see people cruising around these quite often. No different than a mobile phone. Well, probably not as big as a mobile phone, but everyone was having a go. So definitely the size, definitely the fact that you can interchange the cartridges, and some people might not even realize it, but these guys here were one of the first people you could plug a camera into the back of it as a cartridge, take a photo, and even print it. So, as I said before, Nintendo always on the cutting edge. We go looking for the pros here of the Nintendo Switch, and after something that's been very absent from gaming, I came into this and had a look at this, and the reality is the graphics on this thing are unbelievable, and the connectability of this is unbelievable. The easy access to connecting to the internet, you can even download games off the internet. It's obviously putting a whole lot of great traits that we now live in this very comfortable world we're in, unless you're in China or America. Don't put that in. Yeah. These have come a very long way. The graphics in these, the processing speed, the connectability is absolutely mind-blowing. There's almost nothing this can't do. Let's not discredit the fact that all you need to do is put that into a dock and you can play it on your full screen TV. I don't know which is better. I like using the handheld, but it's funny enough, when I've had a few friends around, we've been playing this on my TV, and that's something I haven't done for probably 20 years. The Game Boy. And after coming back to it years later, there's no doubt that it's pretty hard to see. I don't mind the size of it because I can actually see that, but the actual the contrast just seems to wash out all the time, which makes it extremely hard to see. And it's probably the only thing that I don't like about it. I actually love the fact that this is battery powered. I'm surprised at how long the battery lasts for. It's amazing, but the only negative is there's no battery warning. So when they're gone, they're gone. I never really let this bother me back in the day, but I look at it now and I just think, how the hell did that come out? And I believe the Game Boy Color came out with a battery indicator afterwards. These guys have thought about that. It's all auto-saved. You don't really need to worry about it all. And just such an amazing device. I mean, I can't believe how far they have come in regards to this device. And for having someone that's not really into gaming, but to have this system, knowing that if I ever travel in a plane again, that I'll be pulling this out. And it's even giving me some relaxing time, some R&R and time. While the kids are watching their shows, I can get on this without disrupting anyone else in the house. So everyone wins in the family. So let's go to the cons of the Nintendo Switch. It's hard to find one. And to be honest, I had a bit of a hissy fit where it wouldn't connect to my iPhone when I first got it. So that was really pissing me off. But other than that, have not had any problems. It's connected straight away to my Wi-Fi at home. No problem at all. In sunlight, the screen can be a bit washed out and it does make it a little bit hard to see, but that's only in direct sunlight. Most of the time, I'm not outside sitting there playing these things. So for me, that's probably the only two negative things. I mean, I'm absolutely blown away by how good the Nintendo Switch is. And when I like something, you will know about it because I definitely talk about it. This is one gaming device that definitely will not be forgotten. And any of you that are watching this that do know the Nintendo, they're bigger cartridges and now they're on like SD cards. They're just thicker SD cards, which is quite remarkable when you really think about it. But let's face it, that's the way that technology's gone and everyone seems to be pretty used to that. And if you don't want any cartridges, you can download all the games from the internet. Does the nostalgia of playing an old school Game Boy really hold up to the Nintendo Switch? Well, the reality is no. Let's back it up. The reality is no, this is great to have, and I have had a ball playing the Game Boy stuff, but there's no way that you can possibly tell me this is cool to play it with this. All the old Sega games, all the old Nintendo games, you can get them here. It's obviously emulated, and it plays better than the original does anyway. The graphics are better, everything is better. So I don't think it holds up. Is the Switch worth it? There is no doubt the Switch is worth it. I've seen in some of the trading stores, you can actually pick these up. Maybe not this one, but some form of the Switch for $250. That's relatively cheap when you're looking at a portable gaming device that gives you what this does. It is absolutely amazing. Is this good for kids? Yes, well it is. I think this is better than watching some of the mind-blowing Paw Patrol, which is really good I might add, or Barbie that I seem to be watching a lot from home. Playing the device, it makes you think a lot, and the new games have really made me realize they are making people think in a different way, and I think that's better too. The spatial awareness that you need to know, your memory, and all those things need to come into play to play these modern day games. And I think there's no doubt this should be used for anyone's education. I think there is a lot of education to be had in playing games. So there you have it. So impressed with this new device. It is absolutely unbelievable, mind-blowing in many ways. It's hard you can pack so much in to this small device. Not to mention the usability, and it's even been a bit of a fireplace where we've actually had a bit of fun around the TV playing games together with friends and my kids as well. So there's no doubt Nintendo, I believe, are one of the best companies in the world, and what they have done by listening to their consumers really does say a lot for here. I'm so excited to see what Nintendo are going to be bringing out next.